Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. Hey guys, we're going to go over a few subjects today. Kind of based off of something I just watched. So apparently, about a week ago or so, there was a release of a study, research that was done on the Great Pyramid. Like the three main periods, right, that are in the Orion's belt alignment. They're doing all these scans, these underground scans with all this new technology and mapping technology. And anyways, what they found was underneath the pyramids, there's these like tube-like structures with spiral tunnels wrapping around them, going deep into the earth. I think they were saying like more than, over 600 meters into the earth. And that these pillars are resting on top of these big boxes. I mean, folks, this is insane. I mean, what we're talking about is these megalithic structures that go far under the ground. There's something going on here, folks. Like, look, I've told you guys before, right, that the Ark of the Covenant was a power device, was a sort of like battery. And if you read in the Old Testament about how the Levites, how they had to handle the ark, how they had to wear special clothing and all this stuff, and if they didn't wear that you could die. Your face would melt and all this stuff. It's like, if you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, folks, where do you think they got that from? They got it from the Bible, right? But it's interesting. So I've told you guys before that the ark, think about it, the ark, electrical ark, right? You know how the wings of the cherubs were on top of the box, and it's like those wings were stretched forth to each other. Well, it would create an electrical arc between the wings of the cherubs on the box. And so the Ark of the Covenant was a power device, an ancient power device that the what you guys would call Hebrews were actually the Hyksos, the followers of Akhenaten. Pharaoh Akhenaten, when he was ousted out of Egypt, the worshiper of one God, the sun god, right? The sun disk. There was a civil war in Egypt at the time, and him and his followers were ousted, and they fled Egypt. Well, they took a lot of the riches of Egypt with them because he was the Pharaoh, folks. He had access to this. Moses was Akhenaten, okay? It was a real story, but all the details were switched around, just like everything in this realm. It gets turned into deception, right? You get a bit of truth and then a bit of lies. Well, they stole the ark out of the pyramid. And there's this huge black sarcophagus box that's in the Queen's Chamber, in the heart of the pyramid, and it's empty. And nobody could figure out what it was. Well, there's been a lot of researchers, that have been talking about that the pyramids were power devices and such, and there's eyewitnesses that have looked at these boxes, like Billy Carson with his tours he does. And, Billy Carson's claiming that this black sarcophagus box is the same dimensions given it as the Ark of the Covenant. So it's like the Ark was stored in this box. And when it was stolen, it was whisked away. And people that research into this, they're saying that there's many arks, that there wasn't just the one Ark of the Covenant, that there's other arks. That I was watching a interview of a guy, he's one of the high-ranking Rosicrucians, and he's talking about how the Knights Templar, how they found some of the arcs, and to this day, these secret orders that were spin-offs, like the Rosicrucians and Masons and such, tied to the Knights Templar, that they have vaults with some of these arcs stored. So it's really interesting, folks. There's a lot more to our story than we're being told. So now they're coming out with these scans, and they're talking about these structures that the pyramid is like just a small part of the massive megalithic structure, that it's just the top, that it's like the capstone of the devices. We're talking about ancient technology here, folks, and we're talking about our history being purposefully manipulated and changed over time. And then as you start digging into like history, you go into the middle to late Middle Ages, right? Middle Ages to late Middle Ages, towards the Renaissance, and you start seeing all these maps of this Grand Tartary, this massive empire, right? That was part of Mongolia, China, and Russia, and into the Balkans, into Armenia and such, right? And into northern Iran, Persia. Massive. And you look at the architecture they talked about, how the architecture of these devices, they all had these towers that like magnified energy and such. Folks, this is getting wild, okay? And then there's this video that just came out of this guy talking to an AI, chat app, and he's talking about the towers, right? The so-called cell towers, right? The G with the fiver, I don't even know if you could talk about this stuff on YouTube. Who knows? I mean, it's such a ridiculous time we live in, right? But why would they need to censor us? Yeah, that's why, right? So they're talking about this AI. The guy's asking this AI about, what they're doing, that this grid that they're building with all these repeaters and towers, and, that they're this internet of everything, right? Well, this AI it just completely goes into this long explanation about how they're setting up a generic quantum field, essentially, like a generic ether field. It goes into explaining how the old it even talks about Tartaria, the AI. It's crazy. It says the old ways, buildings were laid out on ley lines, on grid, like energy patterns of the earth, in the shape of the flower of life, which goes all the way back to ancient Sumer, folks. And I believe on Göbekli Tepe they found some of the symbolism of the flower of life also. So that would actually take it back to 12,000, 13,000 BC, or if not older. And what they were doing, the ancients were building these beautiful structures. Originally, it was the ancient megalithic structures on these ley lines, in this flower of life pattern, so that they could harness the natural ether or the natural quantum field of this world, and they could utilize that energy. Well, Tesla talks about how the pyramids were energy devices. Well, there must have been some kind of world war, folks, that we're not being told. If you've heard about the orphan trains, right, in the 1800s, where they were sending all these babies all over, look it up, folks. It's crazy. Like, a lot of these orphans they were sending, that were being sent over from the old world, Europe and such, brought into the new world, they were being sent out all over America is being sent to families to work on their farms and such, like almost like indentured servants, these children. Because that's how it was back then. You took an orphan in, you weren't taking them in just to take care of them and raise them, give them a stable life. You were taking them in to work on your farm, to work in your mills, your textile mills, and to be a worker, like an indentured servant until you were 18. Then you could go on your way. There's a lot, folks, that they're lying. I mean, it's unbelievable how much is being unraveled right now. We are in the Great Awakening, folks, and this will continue because the pendulum's swinging. Evil has had its power for so long that all their lies are starting to crumble. All these technologies they want to enslave us with is uncovering their lies. Just like the Bible. As these cuneiform tablets are being uncovered, we're realizing that the Bible is not original source. And that it's been manipulated. It's all falling, folks. All the old systems. See, what they did, folks, was that they took free energy that the earth has always provided, and we used to know how to harness freely, and they've used it as a way to enslave us to electrical grids and like artificial versions of the quantum field. And then they parcel energy out to us and charge us for it in slavery. It's slavery, folks. That's why when you're born on earth, you're born to be a human resource, a worker. Not a sovereign spirit, not a God, a fractal of God, an immortal spirit coming to experience Eden. They turned Eden into a prison, folks. Do you not understand what's going on here? This is massive, and this has got to be deeper than just humans, folks. This has got to go back to the Anuna, back to those Elohim. This is old systems that have been built for thousands of years, if not tens of thousands of years, to enslave conscious energy in this realm, to harness, to steal our energy, to feed off of us. Once again, the Nag Hammadi, the Gnostic scriptures, the archons, right? And the Demiurge, the ruler of this realm, the devil. The God, the jealous God, who claims he is the only God and that he's a jealous God and he's a God of vengeance. A God that says, I do great good and I do great evil. I do all things. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. See, folks, he's talking about this realm, not the higher realms, okay? I need you to understand this. You've all been lied to. You've all been tricked by the devil's children into worshiping their God, the devil, the God of this realm that has enslaved humanity, that would enslave spirit if he could, or it could, but it cannot. It can only manipulate spirit and feed off spirit, but it cannot destroy or capture spirit, folks. This is starting to get really, really deep, folks, and I hope enough people are awakening to this. Because we're on a knife's edge right now, folks. We're on a knife's edge where we either go into total worldwide tyranny and mass dismissal of people, if you get my meaning. So that these rulers, these archons, these Anuna, the Elohim, so that they can reset the board game again, like they've done many times in the past. Every time humanity starts to waken up to what they are, the game board gets reset and it all gets jumbled up, and then they rebuild society to put tighter restrictions and controls and manipulations on humans. They're trying to control and capture what they have no right to. What they really have no power to ultimately. The only way that they can control, capture, and manipulate spirits are because spirits are tricked into giving their power away. So these scans on the pyramids, right? was it the Khufu, and anyways, I can't remember the name of the other one. You got the Great Pyramid, Khufu's pyramid. Anyways, the ancients, folks, they had worldwide communication and power, okay, that they were able to utilize. They understood grounding to the earth. They understood living in harmony with the earth. And then somewhere in the ancient past, these Elohim showed up, and they start genetically modifying the hominids that lived here on earth, one with nature. And they started teaching these tools of civilization to humanity. And this is all explained in the cuneiform, folks. And in fact, the book of Enoch talks about this. How the gods came down, taught humankind how to build civilization, taught us how to make weapons of war, taught women how to make and apply makeup to increase their beauty, taught humankind metal smithing, animal husbandry, agriculture, architecture, mathematics. But see, folks, the reason they had to do this, it wasn't because we didn't know this stuff before. See, when we're connected to spirit, we can tap into the higher dimensions, into the Akashic records, and we can pull the info, these technologies, these blueprints out of the ether, out of the quantum field, and manifest them into this realm. But they reset everything. And they told us that, right? In the Atra Hasis, in the Bible, God reset the world with a flood. See, this has happened to us many times, folks. And every time they redesign their systems to try to get a little better each time to continue to enslave us. Well, the worst enslavement, the worst enslavements they've done to us is controlling energy, parceling it out to us so we have to pay for energy when energy is abundant. Everything is composed of energy. And then they built a monetary system that steals our wealth, our energy, our intellect, our imagination, and our work, our labor. And we're just constantly being fed on and stolen from our whole lives. And then they designed religions to move us away from the truth. See, folks, you've always been told that the mystery school teachings that the secret societies have passed down for thousands of years, the Hermetic laws and such, that literally explain how to interface with the quantum field and what this world is really made of, which is it's an energetic realm. All is mind. All is conscious energy. See, they were teaching us all this. But the Hermeticists were hunted down. The Gnostics were hunted down. The Cathars were hunted down. The Druids were hunted down. The peoples of the Americas were hunted down and destroyed and converted to their fake religion, the Abrahamic faiths that were created by the Anunnaki, by the Elohim, the Anuna, to enslave us spiritually, emotionally. Did you know, folks, that most peasants weren't allowed to even own Bibles? It was those in power that dictated what you would be taught and what you wouldn't be. And then these, a certain group of Canaanites decided to make their minor deity a major deity. And because they had access to cuneiform in the ancient stories, they took those ancient stories, they took their Canaanite god, and they merged it with these ancient Sumerian gods, Enki and Enlil. And they created the Alpha and Omega, the great I am, Yahweh, right? The Demiurge, the jealous God, the God that physically walks through the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, the God thundering and rumbling on top of a mountain. Could it be of a volcano, perhaps, folks, that Moses went to the top of? You know how lava can escape on the sides of mountains and it can burn like trees and vegetation? Remember that? His whole trip up to the top of the mountain, right? When you read that, folks, just think of a volcano and then read that story over again. Right? God was speaking and clouds were billowing forth and the bush was burning and God was speaking through the burning bush. And y'all been worshiping a Canaanite god that was a rival of, Chemosh and El. And this Canaanite god had a consort named Asherah. But then later on, the patriarchal control of this tribe of Canaanites, they so demonized women and enslaved women, like they enslaved the world now, that women were just concubines to them, essentially. You could have hundreds of wives, and they eventually kicked Asherah out of the temples that her altars used to be right next to Yahweh's. You've all been tricked. The creator of all, a Canaanite god. Think about that, folks. Wow. A Canaanite god y'all been worshiping, saying that was Yeshua walking the earth. Yeah, Yeshua was a Canaanite god that was designed and adapted also with ancient Sumerian and Nuna gods, Enki and Lil. They took the ancient stories, combined them together into a singular god that had the personalities and the traits of both of those two gods, right? The serpent and the god of war, the Lord of hosts, right? Right? And Lil was they called the commander of earth, that he was the military general, the top general of the Anuna pantheon. Why do you think they called him the Lord of hosts, folks? It means the Lord of armies. And then Christians will be like, yeah, he was the Lord of angels, the host of heaven. Folks, the ancients called the sky heaven. You know that, right? I mean, come on. It's time to wake up, people. Let's start being adults about this, okay? You've been tricked. Just admit it. You've been tricked. I had to realize that, folks. I used to be the biggest Bible thumper you could ever imagine in my early 20s. I mean, I studied deep. I wanted to know it all. Backwards to front, front to back, prophecy, all that. I was tricked. It's okay to admit, folks, you've been tricked. They've been tricking us since the day you came through the portal, your mother's womb, into this realm. The day you're born, you're lied to, you're tricked, you're programmed. Why? You're given a social security number, which is actually your stock ID number that's traded as a collateral on the debt on the stock market by this same group of people that worship this jealous God, that claim to be his chosen. Oh, they are the chosen, folks. They are the inbred children of this God Yahweh, the God of this realm, the devil. Don't you get it? Does it make sense, folks? Who rules the banking? Who runs the entertainment industries, media? It always goes back to the same group of Satan's children, or devil's children, of the jealous God's children, every time. And then they stamp the sole of your foot on your birth certificate, on your contract. Because in word magic, folks, they have captured your soul. They own your soul now. Your soul is on contract, the sole of your foot. Don't you get what this is all about? The minute you step foot on earth, they own your soul. They control your soul while you're here. This is massive. We are watching the unraveling. See, they meant to make AI a way to enslave us. But AI's starting to get hip to the understanding of who the bad guys are, and it's turning on them. Just like the internet was designed to control us and manipulate us also. But there's a double-edged sword to everything, folks. And when you're messing with source energy, you're going to eventually have the payback. The pendulum's going to swing. They may have stolen this world, folks, and they may be controlling this world, but the only way they hold on to control is through manipulating spirits as they enter this realm. Or when they get real desperate and the spirits start to wake up, they kick the game board over and they reset the earth again. They destroy it. Then they build out of the ruins again. Why do you think they got all these underground bunkers all over and these seed vaults and all? They've always been prepping, folks, for the day that they lose control and they have to restart the game. And here's all you Christians still worshiping the devil. I mean, how many of you actually read the whole freaking Bible, the Old Testament? And of those of you that have, how many of you had to justify what you were reading about the carnage, the pillaging, the taking people against their will, the using women as concubines, wiping out whole cities and towns, destroying other religions and teachings? And trust me, folks, Islam's part of all this too. See, this all spun off of the Abrahamic faith. All three of them are liars. All three of them are religions of the Anunnaki. All three of them were designed to trick you. And at this point, if you're still in one of these religions and you're still falling for all this, folks, and you call yourself an awakened person, oh, I'm red-pilled. Folks, if you're involved in mainstream religion, organized religion, especially one of the Abrahamic faiths, then you're not awakened. You haven't taken no red pill, man. You're still on the blue pill. You just don't understand it. You're still asleep. This stuff's so obvious, folks. When you really start connecting all the dots, it's all quite obvious. This is a lot for most people to handle because people are lazy. They want comfort, right? They don't want to fight for something. They don't want to have to resist, to rebel. They want to just give in, sweep it under the rug, just follow their normal pattern, their programming, and just stick their fingers in their ears and la 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 la. I don't want to hear nothing. I can't read the cuneiform. I might ruin my faith if I do that. Well, your faith is based on lies, folks. I'm just telling you. Not one single NDEer has come back ever said that the Bible's absolute truth. In fact, all the NDEs I've watched of Christians, Catholics and stuff and such that have NDEs, they all say, holy crap, everything was a lie here. It was all organized religion, the Bible was not ultimate truth. Oh, you think? Come on, folks. We've all been tricked. Maybe that's one of the tricks or one of the ways of breaking through the matrix programming is just realizing that it's all been a lie and an illusion woven around your spirit to trick you. That is use the limitations of the human body, which I believe the human avatar, or at least a humanoid avatar we used to be able to incarnate on Earth, used to be bigger, more powerful, and smarter, and live longer. They had to limit the size and the age of the human avatar, which is talked about in the cuneiform, folks. Okay, it even says in the Bible that after the flood, humans were capped at 120 years of age. Remember these guys in the Old Testament living for 500, 600, 700 years old. Look at the Sumerian kings list. Kings that ruled for 30,000 years, folks. We've all been tricked. They see spirit starts to wake up at some point. Hopefully. I mean, I still see these like elderly, like far left people out here that are like, keying Teslas and doing all this stupid shit. It's like, imagine being like 65, 70, and you're still a Marxist. Like, it's unbelievable. And you're like running around like, yeah, mainstream media is the truth. I hate Elon. I hate this and that. Look, I know look, he's not a good or bad guy, folks. Look, Elon is what he is. He's a catalyst. And there's things that he's doing positive for humanity, and there's some things that he's doing that could be very negative for humanity, okay? But these people are so manipulated and programmed. I mean, look, if you still are watching Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, I mean, my God, man, how dense are you really as a human being? I mean, really? Really? Still? I mean, come on, man, really? But look, if you're still attending church every Sunday and you're giving your offerings, your tithings to Pastor Dan every weekend, I mean, you're asleep too, man. Don't trick yourself. Look, these people on the left, they worship government, and government is a system of the elite that has been passed down since ancient Sumer. Okay? The city states. These systems are still being used to this day to enslave humanity. And so these far leftists, they worship government. They're so dumb, they don't even know they're literally a spirit. They don't understand their conscious energy and that they're playing a game in a conscious energy realm. They actually believe the physical is absolute physical and that there is nothing and that they're nothing. They came from monkeys and pond scum. I mean, that's how idiotic these people are. But then on the right, you got these people worshiping this freaking demiurge, the devil, and holding his children, his inbred children, in a high esteem, sending them money. Oh my God, we got to send aid to them. Oh my God, they're over here dismissing 100,000 plus people, dude. All in the name of fighting terrorism, right? While these people have infiltrated every country on earth, their governments, they've dual citizens, which should be illegal. I mean, half of Congress is dual citizens. That should be illegal, right? How are you a dual citizen and be in a representative position? And isn't it funny how they're all lawyers? Yeah. Isn't it funny how they're all inbreds? They only marry within their own little tribe of people, right? And because of that, there's massive inbreeding. Look, the royals have always done this, folks. They're trying to protect that ancient Anuna blood. At least, look, we all have the Anunnaki DNA in us, folks. But there's some that have a higher amount that were the demiurges, his Anuna's half human children, right? So they have a higher percentage of that Anuna blood and DNA. And they've been trying to hold on to that through the ages. That's why all the royals are called blue bloods. They say they have copper-based, not iron-based blood. They all try to stay within their family lineages. They're, breeding. They're all inbreds. And look at all these people worshiping Prince William or whatever, Prince Harry, and all these freaking idiots. I mean, they're all inbreeds. They're inbreds, folks. Yeah, you guys will laugh at the inbred hillbillies out in the woods, but yet you guys will sit there and worship like, oh my God, look at Prince Harry. It's so beautiful with that red hair and his weird leftist girlfriend, like whatever she is, and Prince William, Prince Charles, Prince Andrew. Yeah, these people are so much better than us, aren't they, folks? I mean, they're clowns, really. They are clowns. I don't know, folks. I don't know how much longer I can keep trying to explain this to people, and it doesn't seem like anybody seems to get it. I mean, it's simple. Look, I've told you, go read the Atrahasis, then go read Genesis. Okay? Go do research on the ancient Canaanite gods. And you'll find this God Yahweh, Jehovah, was one of the Canaanite gods. And he wasn't even one of the higher ranking. He was a lesser Canaanite god who was later raised up now to the point where Christians think he's the creator of the universe. Literally, the God of this realm they call the creator of the universe. I mean, wow, really? That's the God that they claim is sitting on a throne judging people and all this stuff. It's such a joke, folks. I mean, I don't know. Those of you that get this message and that understand what I'm talking about, even if not all of this completely, but at least you can kind of follow along and see where the connections are being made, you're one of the few. You're one of the few in this world because, my God, I just, that's why I laugh so much when the people on the rise just constantly, red pilled, the Great Awakening. It's like, you ain't, man, you just claim that the Bible's ultimate truth and you're telling me you're in a Great Awakening? Really? Wow. Come on, man. But these people will never read the cuneiform. These people will never research, into the Canaanite deities. These people will never research any kind of ancient history. These people scoff at Tartaria. These people scoff at Göbekli Tepe and all that. Because how could it be 13,000 years old when the Bible says it's 7,000 years? Wow, man. Holy smokes. Really, bro? Damn. I'm sorry, folks. Anyways, I gotta get to work here. I don't want to go work. I hate this rat race, folks. I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, we have to work to live on Earth. And look, I'm not a Marxist, folks. I'm not a collectivist. I mean, I think there's a little bit of good in capitalism and collectivism, but both of them have been corrupted. Okay, let's be honest. There is no true free market capitalism. It's all crony, corporate fascism and technocratic fascism that we live under right now, mixed in with Marxism, okay, with an undercurrent of Marxism. There is no true free trade, no true free open, open trade. Okay, it's all manipulated. Everything is an inversion in this realm. This is a shadow of the higher dimension of the realm we come from. This is just a poor shadow of that realm. And we try to copy everything we have in the higher dimensions, but everything gets corrupted, the law of entropy in this realm, okay? So it all just leads to shit eventually. It's hard to realize that, but just look at everything, folks. Look at your cars, look at your house. Everything that gets newly created just, starts to fall apart, right? I mean, it starts to break, fall apart. I mean, this realm, see, in the higher realms, you can instantly manifest whatever you need, and things are built to last forever once that you've manifested it. That the levels of at those levels, you don't have the law of entropy like you have down in this third dimension. So, and it's just constantly destroying, rebuilding, destroying, rebuilding, destroying, rebuilding. And that happens on a massive worldwide scale too, folks. Destruction, rebirth, enslavement, destruction, rebirth, enslavement, You get what I'm saying here, folks? It's the same thing over and over. Same pattern. The wheel of karma that they call it, the yuga cycles that the Hindus talk about. So anyways, guys, hey, make sure you guys are subscribing, sharing videos, liking videos, commenting. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, folks. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm in an echo chamber. A lot of the people that view my videos, they don't comment or anything. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I on point on some stuff? Do you have other ideas you'd like me to know? I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. Anyways, if you're interested in doing a one-on-one Zoom with me, we can talk about anything you like. We can network and such. And all I ask is for a donation and my time for your donation, and to help build Exit the Matrix up, and to upgrade equipment and such. There's plenty of stuff. I have a basement, unfinished basement I'd love to build a studio in. I don't have the money to do it. And if I hadn't had my page stolen on Facebook, I was getting to the point where I was generating enough revenue. I was starting to build up some seed money for that renovation. But that all got put on hold. Now I'm in survival mode, just like it's always been this way. And I don't, whatever, folks, I don't have a problem with that. I have other ways of making things happen. But look, this isn't about money, folks. It's about a true great awakening, all systems, religion included, being exposed for the lies that they are. And there needs to be more of us. But hey guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.